Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get started. We've got a good crew here. Welcome to the ACT Network winter virtual meeting. Hope everyone's doing well and got snow in the places you're supposed to have it and not in the places you're not. But we've been enjoying our first big snow here in Maryland in several years. So it's been kind of fun to have some white stuff on the ground for a while. Um, yeah, so we have a good morning meeting planned here, plus some time in the afternoon for folks that want to stick around and hang out and get questions answered or do some training and other things. I'll start out by going over the agenda, and we'll have a few introductions, and then we'll get into the rest of the meeting. Um, so yeah, so we'll have some updates on the network and other regional activities going on. We've got a couple of presentations from John Pye and Joy Young about things going on at the Ocean Tracking Network and in the FACT network. We'll have a short break at 10:30. And then after the break, we'll talk a little bit about the user agreement and some other new opportunities and programs that have started up recently or are coming soon for the network members. We'll have some presentations from the students who were awarded funds to support their conference travel last year, hear about the work that they've been doing, some other community updates, and we'll aim to wrap up at noon. But then, as I mentioned, from 12:30 to 2:30, there'll be a working session for anyone who needs help with data formatting, uploading data, has other questions, etc. Kim will be on that, and hopefully a couple others as well. So, yeah, we can get into the introductions. Kim, has Gerhard joined? I haven't been able to follow all the people who are coming through yet. Oh, I can't hear you. Kim, you're muted.
I'm
Sorry.
not sure that I've seen his name come up yet, but there was a big early batch that I didn't see everybody.
Okay. Um, I think Gerhard Kuska from Maricus is going to join us. If you're Gerhard, take it away if you're here, but I hadn't seen you come in before we started. Um, so I'm going to jump forward to Jackie Motika from Niracus, and we'll
Okay,
catch back up with Gerhard when he joins.
all right. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all. I am Jackie Motika. I'm the NERACUS Strategy Director. NERACUS, for those of you who don't know, is the Northeast region of the U.S. Integrated Ocean Observing System. Next slide, please.
I think I just had, oh yeah, I do have more.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just a basic
Yep.
introduction. This just kind of shows a little bit of the region in which we operate. So Long Island Sound out to the Shelf Break and through the Gulf of Maine. And through this region, we deploy a number of long-term monitoring assets. These assets collect a lot of data, all of which is accessible on our website through ERDAP, so the historical information, things like buoys, coastal stations, remote sensing. And I will say, the buoys we have, that's kind of like our bread and butter here in the Northeast. We have about 10 in the region, with subsurface measurements, and a lot of them go back to 20 plus years of data. So all of this information is accessible to folks. And I will also add that with Inflation Reduction funding, we're currently working on an assessment of needs, and we will be recapitalizing these assets. And we're really trying to think of the types of monitoring measurements that are needed. So, and one thing specifically is in terms of biological monitoring. We're really trying to think about how we can add additional sensors to these assets that have been out there, and collecting this information all time in real time. And so, like for instance, with the buoys, we currently have scope to add some BAT ultrasonic call sensors So it's kind of something a little bit different that maybe we haven't thought about to date. So I wanted to raise that on this call. If there are things that people are looking for that aren't out there that we could potentially add to a buoy, please reach out. We are also expanding our long-term biological monitoring of things like acoustics and what a soundscape looks like, the long-term soundscape in the Gulf of Maine. Plankton, sustaining some long-term monitoring, and also making more accessible some of the NOAA plankton monitoring data. Working with Nathan and others to make some eDNA data available. And also we'll be upgrading a number of our models and data products. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of kind of some of the work that we do and some opportunities that might be of specific interest to this group. So yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information was on the first slide or on the website. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Jackie. And our next welcome, and if you, I should have said this at the beginning, where the welcomes here are from our supporters within IUCE, Integrated Ocean Observing System, and our two regional associations, the Maricus and the Northeast. So the next presentation is Connie Cott, who's the coordinator for the U.S. Animal Telemetry Network and more broadly the Marine Life Program.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Good morning, everybody. I'm Connie, and I am here to represent the U.S. Animal Telemetry Network, and I am at the U.S. IUCE Program Office. We're also working with Jackie and all of the other regions on various projects, but wanted to highlight the telemetry, acoustic telemetry work that we've been doing. So next slide, Matt. Just to give a brief overview of the US ATN, many of you know already, but we are, the main objective is to understand marine life movement as acoustic telemetry nodes who all are also interested in that, but we also support other tag types, satellite tags, pop-up archival tags, and we're also interested in expanding that to other tag types. So if you have interest in those other tag types or ones that we don't have integrated in our system, we're happy to talk with you on that as well. These are all to support many different stakeholders, their interests in different issues under broad categories: fisheries, ocean observation, climate adaptations, and conservation. And we also collaborate with many federal and non-federal partners. Next slide. So the main objectives were to build alliances and collaborations, provide telemetry data aggregation and data to make it more available, and support high priority regional baseline animal telemetry observations. We want to make sure that we can provide unity, stability, and continuity at the national level. And we're committed to doing that with, like I said, partnerships and collaborations, either funded or not funded, but hopefully in a more organized fashion, so that we can pursue funding in the future, because we know that that's the key to providing the unity, stability, and continuity. Next slide. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of the most recent activities that IUCE is supporting, and this is probably something that many of you are aware of for the IRA funded projects that just recently started in the fall. So I just wanted to highlight the ones that had telemetry data components. There are some MBON projects, the Marine Biodiversity Observation Network projects, that include telemetry data applications. They involve NARICUS, Smithsonian Institution, and the Shark Research Foundation. So some of them have telemetry data applications that we're really interested in learning more about how data that were collected and maybe shared with ATN could be leveraged and show the value in having data in a standardized format and available for people to see. This could be really great to show other stakeholders how telemetry can be used in different ways. So happy to discuss this in the future if you have questions about this. And then next. Okay, thanks. And then we're also really excited to support regional activities. So CENCUS also has, this is the Central California region, some funding to support their satellite and acoustic tagging efforts. We also are excited to support new acoustic telemetry nodes. So in the North Pacific coast, there's going to be, there's going to be a telemetry node that's standing up that's supported through AUS, CENCUS, NANUS, and SCUS. Those are 4 regional associations that are supporting this acoustic node. And then there's also one that's being supported in the Gulf called ITAG. And then the next slide is going to show a little bit more about that region breakdown. So NPACT is on the west coast of the US. The ITAG is going to be in the Gulf Coast. And then I just wanted to remind or let people know that IUS is also supporting other telemetry, or specifically acoustic telemetry data efforts, with committed funding and support at the national level through PIRAT. So that's a Pacific Islands acoustic telemetry node through PAC-IUS. And then we're also supporting FACT in the Southeast region, and of course ACT in the Nearcus and Maricus regions. So we are committed to helping get the acoustic telemetry data more available and get it through people's, actually make sure that it's available to stakeholders outside of your networks as well, but also have people aware of all of your great research efforts. The next slide. At the IUS office level and ATN, we also want to make sure that we're able to continue the conversation with what's the best data workflow for these data. So make sure that there's a good way to have long-term archival plans. So we're working with OTN, we're working with each region, we're working with NCEI, we're working with OBIS. We're trying to figure out what's the most efficient way to get these data in the best format for the least data loss. So happy to discuss this in more detail on a side conversation. And then next slide. And then just to remind everyone that we are a network, and we also have a data assembly center. So we do have the capability to receive data. This is mostly Argos data, satellite telemetry data, but we are interested in looking at different ways to accept different types of data. We want to make sure that data are available in different ways. So what makes sense with data aggregation? We want to maximize accessibility, like I said already, make sure that products are meaningful for our stakeholders. And then the last bullet, make sure that there's a good way to permanently archive these data in a useful manner. And the next slide, I think this is the last one. Okay. Thanks for attending, and then happy to answer questions at this meeting or in the future. And I just wanted to mention also Megan McKinsey. She is on the West Coast, so I don't know if she's going to join us later, but I know it's very early for her, so she wanted to just make sure that everyone knew that she wanted to join, but she also is happy to answer any questions about the data. And she's a data coordinator, but also has been working on the Data Assembly Center.
Great, thank you. We have some time. If anyone has any questions for Connie, you can just, I suppose you could raise your hand. We should be able to see that, or you can just unmute and ask your question. Give people a minute if anyone has any questions. Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, Connie, thank you for that presentation. I guess, and this speaks to your last couple of slides in terms of what, how should acoustic telemetry users be using ATN? So I guess, for folks who are consistently giving their data to Matos or FACT or OTN, and so we already feel like, there's a level of data security and repository there and QA/QC going on. What do you then see as those big benefits of then making sure it also gets to ATN? Is it purely just kind of that long-term archival, or are there other things that you see that ATN can provide here?
Yeah, I'm definitely up for discussion on that. I think that's like the ongoing conversation that we're still having in the community. We definitely recognize the benefits for that OTN and maybe other pathways can provide. That's could go directly to NCI or even directly to OBIS. That ATN does not have to, disrupt or need to get in the way of. But I guess we wanted to make sure that if there's like a gap or something that we can provide in the meantime, we're open to discussing that. I think since I've started, I just wanted to make sure that we're covering all our bases, and I want to like, I guess, pick up on conversations that maybe had started early on, and things may have changed because there's been just a lot of capability that has come online. So I guess, yeah, just happy to have those conversations with each stakeholder because everybody's needs are different.
So thank you.
Any other questions for Connie? I guess one thing that I'm curious about is, you're in the process of standing up these other nodes around the country so that most U.S. waters now have or will soon have an OTN compatible node, and with the potential for data sharing across those, et cetera. What's sort of what's the current conversation, or what are your thoughts about kind of bringing those nodes or the leaders of them, the different regional telemetry networks together around acoustic telemetry to sort of make sure that we're all staying aligned and moving forward together in some way. I think it's been easy when it's been ACT and FACT and OTN kind of working together here because we all are next to each other. We're neighbors. We have animals that move across. But I'm kind of curious what the current thinking is at the national level there.
Like, what are the next steps?
Yeah, I guess, what are the next steps, or, within the animal telemetry network steering group, are there opportunities to sort of expand what we're doing with acoustic telemetry?
Yeah, I think there definitely is. I guess we're just trying to coordinate at least for NPACT and ITAG first, just to see how their progress is going. I guess that's like our first immediate need. Obviously, we want to make sure that they're comfortable with, what they need to do with progressing with their objectives and the proposal. But at the same time, like with the workflow that I showed, seeing like where if FACT and ACT are able to progress in their other pipelines, like ready to like go forward with a better data sharing agreement to archive data sharing with OBIS or NCI, if that's like one of the priorities. So I guess trying to figure out what the priority is within the networks, and then if they have the capacity to like also have another layer on top of that to better coordinate across networks and what that looks like. I think how I wanted to approach it, like this is personally, is to try to figure out like what's a good common like product or like way that nodes can actually like produce a product for a good um, a stakeholder that actually needs something that regularly from these nodes that can show that acoustic telemetry data is valuable in the long term, right? Something that could speak to, and we've been talking to sanctuaries as this is just like as an example, like something that we can show for a case study, something that the nodes can like agree that this is worthy of their extra time, because this probably is just like one extra layer that they would have to agree on top of their natural workflow. So these are conversations that we probably have to have on many levels, and things that I probably have to learn more about. So yeah, like happy to discuss this. Yes, John, of course.
I just wanted to follow up on that because I think we've got a moment after the break where we're going to talk about the ACT user agreement, and that's important. And I will try to help you set the table for that a little bit in my talk. But there's also, in terms of coordinating nationally, Matt raises a very good point. There's many U.S. node managers now, but there's a few of us outside of the U.S. as well. And I think things like the global conferences, the ICFTs, the OTN symposiums, I think having a tete-a-tete at those would probably begin to align us in terms of our policies. Although we do try to keep a handle on the policies and make sure nothing gets too weird or out of step. Staying aligned is such a great idea, and we do have an opportunity annually potentially to do that together. But federal guidance has been quite good on this, and I have to congratulate Connie and those who came before her for setting the table so well. But we do have before us quite a good opportunity. So thank you all for being the shining example that you are.
Great. Thanks for those questions. Gerhard's been able to join us, so I'm just gonna see if this will let me back up my slides here.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Or not. But Gerhard, welcome. Thanks for joining. And yeah, we have a few minutes for you to give a welcome also.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me. I mean, I've been participating in these perhaps since the beginning. And first, my apologies for being late and my technical difficulties. It's great to see such a large group, a growing group of folks participating in this Atlantic telemetry work. Well, and in our discussions, I think, as we look to the new year, there's a mixture of excitement and anxiety, concern, because every time we see a change in administration or government, there's concerns, and I know that the divisiveness of the last election causes concerns, particularly if folks are listening to some of the rhetoric and worried about, well, what could happen to our agency or what could happen to the issue areas we care about. And I just want to first say, I want to ask us to be cautious with getting concerned. I think it's very early. I think we've seen not just a growing importance in this work for specific sectors, but just in general, a move to strengthen ecosystem monitoring and assessments. And I having worked in government and at different agencies, including at NOAA, I am not one that wants to jump to conclusions. We've had many attempts to rearrange and reorganize NOAA since it was created in 1970, and so I would say, first of all, let's see what happens. Let's continue to focus on what we're doing. We have a number of funding opportunities that are going to continue to come up. I'm excited with what what's happening with data management, what's happening with modeling, I hope as we continue to move towards improved sharing of those data in a way that's comfortable and safe for all the participants, I think we're going to see additional benefits from the work that everyone's doing here. And I'm just grateful for the time you all put into this. Sometimes it's frustrating, particularly when we're struggling with various funding cycles. But we're going to continue to advocate on Capitol Hill and with the agencies. We had, despite the cuts to budgets that happened even in the last president's proposal, which was unexpected, Congress was very supportive on both sides in both parties to the type of work that we all and you all are doing. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with you, even if it's for just part of the day and not the whole day. But I welcome, you reaching out not just to Matt and Kim, who I'm grateful for their leadership and work, but to any of us within the Maricus family to help support you, elevate your work, and get the messages out that just further strengthen the funding and support to what we're doing here. So thanks very much. I wish us all a great meeting, and back to you, Matt.
Great. Thanks, Gerhard. And I wanted, before I sort of close this in the last minute here, I wanted to thank both Maricus and Nearacus for considering our network as they've been working through the allocations for bipartisan infrastructure law funds to the regional networks or the regional associations. Maricus is providing some additional support that helps at least almost fully fund Kim's time, hopefully for the next couple of years on this project, because our base funding funds about 2/3 of her time for data management. So that will allow Kim some more time to focus on helping you all with data and various other network activities. And Nearacus is providing some funds for communications interns in the next couple of years to help tell stories about all of the great work that you all are doing that we can highlight on the new ACT Network website that will be coming very soon. So thank you to both of your organizations for keeping us in mind through those discussions and helping to support the work that we do. All right.
Hey, Matt,
yeah.
you probably don't notice you have that nice slide of us up there, but that one hasn't been updated. We have Tina Sepaport
Yes.
here with us too, and I don't want to miss an opportunity to introduce. We have brought some new folks on board, and Tina, we also have a new communications manager that's just started, Emily Davenport, and a new engagement manager, Jana. She's so new, I can't remember her last name, Tina. I feel bad now. In any case, we've got some great support coming through some of the IRA funding that was offered to us to try to strengthen some of those core functions. So hopefully they'll provide some additional support to the ACT network. So
great. Thank you. Well,